And you know my life motto, if you're not hard, you're soft.
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 Hard&Soft Pro Wrestling, bringing you up to date on everything that's going on today, the past, and anything that's requested by the nation. We appreciate Hard&Soft on top of the game. Chris Hard, you know the name. Got all the facts about wrestling, man. If you not hard, you soft.
If you're not hard, you're soft.
If you're not hard, you soft.
If you're not hard, you're soft. Yo, the name is Randall. That means I'm always soft. Here with my bro, podcasting like it's our job. The pod hits hard, might leave you in shock. Cause if you're not hard, it's okay to be soft.
Welcome to the Hard&Soft Pro Wrestling Podcast. Yo. What's up, Hard&Soft Pro Wrestling Podcast Nation? We're back with another episode for you. And look, we got a special guest, ABJ. But you know who I'm also rolling with?
Hold
my
on, Chris.
little brother.
Hold on. Stop. I gotta get something off my chest here, dude.
Oh my goodness,
Okay.
He's hot already.
The big softie over here is a little white hot. And I gotta just, look, I
I
gotta lay
love
something out. It's been on my mind all day, okay? We've had discussions about this. I love ABJ.
Yes.
Not the way you say it.
What? I love a BJ.
That is not it, dude. That is
No,
not
okay.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
not what it says.
oh.
It says ABJ, Anthony Blackwell Jr. I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, I know you guys probably
This
get this
guy.
a lot too. Like, you're hard to just like you're hard-headed, and he's soft because he's a big softy, and I'm ABJ. But people always make penis references to all of our names, and I don't
all
get
of
it.
us. Yeah.
I don't understand.
We are all a penis reference, which
Yeah,
is
I don't-
amazing.
That's not what I was going for. I don't know where people are getting these terrible ideas from. You
That's where we differ. That's exactly what we were going for.
know? Same.
Oh,
same
exactly.
100%.
Sorry, Big Hard. Keep going. I got to get that off my chest.
No, but you know who I'm with. My little brother, shoot brother that is, the big softy. How you doing tonight, Randall?
I'm
Besides
doing good,
being white
man.
hot.
Oh, well, I'm feeling better now, dude. I cannot thank ABJ enough for joining us tonight, dude. You know, this is kind of the first time that we've met and we've talked, so for you to come onto our show or whatever and do this, we really appreciate it, man. So thank you very
Introduce
much.
yourself to the nation.
Well, I'm Anthony Blackwell Jr., the host and the proprietor of the ABJ podcast. I've done content now for quite some time, about 5-6 years. This is my last iteration of it. Before this, I've had 5 other podcasts with different various topics, with craft beer and interviews and professional wrestling and paranormal spooky, and I believe there was a podcast in there where I talked about the Washington football team Commanders, whatever their name is now. There was a few different iterations. I've been in this content game for a while. It's led me to do some really cool things, especially in the craft beer and professional wrestling world. I've been doing professional wrestling commentary now for about 2 or 3 years, taking a little bit of a hiatus break from it. But along the journey, man, I met a lot of cool people in this business. I've met a lot of cool content creators such as yourselves. Now I'm finally meeting. But I've been hearing about you guys for a minute. I don't know exactly where you're based out of, but I know you've been supporting the Northeast wrestling scene a while. There's a few times where you guys popped up on other content creators I was working with and doing stuff with, where you'd see them out at shows and stuff like that. So I've been aware of what you guys have been doing and keeping an eye on it. And you guys are having a lot of fun, and that's what it's about. And I think it's really cool that, I just found out you're actually Shoot Brothers, so that's kind of cool that you guys are bonding over wrestling as well as podcasting. You're like the Kelsey brothers, you know what I mean? Like, you can't always be around each other, but you can get together and bond and have that time with each other, which I think is really, really cool.
Well,
Yeah,
and
that's
dude,
why we started
Chris.
this, just because you know what I mean. That's all we do is talk about wrestling, watch wrestling, and he lives in Philadelphia. I'm in Allentown, so it's it's about an hour.
I
and a
might
half
be
away,
moving
so
to
it's-
Philly very soon.
Really?
Maybe
go ahead,
Go ahead.
ABJ.
Yeah, so probably maybe early next year I'll be maybe a Philadelphia resident, which is kind of crazy to think about. I never lived in a big city in my life.
Wow, good for you, man. And any relation, I think you talked about everything that you've done, and I think your personality probably speaks to this more than anything. You're well known around this area and all the different small independent shows and independent shows around the area. like Chris and I were over at Suplex Vintage Wrestling, the pro wrestling shop in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we saw your business card right there.
Yeah, we saw your business card right there in the front, and I'm repping a crew neck right from there from this weekend. But the guys there think very highly of you too, and you know, like Chris said, we got into this probably about a year ago, Chris, but a year prior to that, we had always talked about, dude, like, we get together, we watch wrestling, we giggle, we laugh, we act silly, we act like, you know, kids. Yeah. Dude, we should just do this for a fun hobby. Like Chris said, we're, you know, an hour away from each other now, so it allows us some hangout time, and we have a blast doing it, man. And being able to meet guys like you and the way that you guys, I think probably your best trait, man, is like the ability to unselfishly promote other people. And I think that's something that, you know, I heard on one of your podcasts that you said, and it really struck a chord, man. So I can't just thank you enough for joining us tonight, dude.
Yeah, thank you very much, dude.
The biggest thing I'm going to tell you guys is keep the idea of it's fun and whatever happens, happens. I honestly, if I can change anything, and I'm trying to slowly get my mind back into that time, that frame of mind, is just doing it for fun. A while ago, I invested a lot of money, time, effort into what I'm doing, and then it became the goal. It still is the goal, but I kind of got more tracked on my numbers aren't growing. I'm not getting subscribers. I'm not blowing up like I want to be blowing up. And then you kind of almost get sucked into a mind state where it's like you don't look around and say, like, I've made so many friends in this business. People are aware who I am, and that kind of becomes clouded, and then you kind of get depressed because you're putting so much into this. So that would be my advice to you guys: is just have fun with it, and whatever happens, happens. And you'll have more of a fun time doing this than getting caught up in that nonsense. Because that's kind of where I've been for a while.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. And you know, right now we're kind of here right now to watch a pretty awesome match: Cactus Jack versus Randy Orton, Backlash 2004, street fight, anything goes. So you know, before we get started, I'm just gonna go ahead and give us a little recap of the event. It took place Sunday, April 18th, 2004, in Rexall Place, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Canada.
Oh, I love this. I love that song. Attendance.
You're usually
16...
the one singing, so I had to pop in a little vocal there.
Well,
we got freaking ABJ in the building. We gotta go hard here. Even the big Softie can go hard, dude. If Jeff
Jarrett's on this card, you know I'll be singing. So you know, attendance was 16,839. I don't know if that's a shoot number or a work number. Probably.
Oh, it's got to. Vince is shooting there. Vince is shooting.
So you know, first match, I actually just watched this match: Shelton Benjamin versus Ric Flair. Shelton Benjamin won 9 minutes 29 seconds. Now ABJ,
Flair's 112 in that match. He looks great.
yeah. He looks so good. I'm gonna ask
you.
And
Flair puts Shelton Benjamin over, dude. Yeah. Flair never won.
Yeah.
What do you think about Meltzer's star ratings, and what do you think about Meltzer's opinions? Because maybe before you even give your opinion, I'm just gonna go ahead and say he gave this match a 2.5 or 2.25 star.
Yeah.
I think Dan Seltzer is a basement dweller eating his mom's macaroni and cheese. So I don't know what you think of him, but
well, there's two people in this business that I respect, and their opinions seem to be the catalyst for everything wrestling. That's Meltzer and Jim Cornette. I think they're great wrestling. I think they're great wrestling.
That's great right there.
Hold on.
I think they're great wrestling.
Can you order a cheeseburger at Wendy's just like Cornette would order it?
Oh, god damn it! Double cheese, double onion, double mayo.
Sorry, ABJ, got
it. So I respect their historian aspect of professional wrestling and their love for the business. I don't always tend to agree on a lot of their takes. I think Cornette's more of a character that people think, you know, he blurs the line, but he's definitely a character. But Meltzer, if a lot of matches happened in the Tokyo Dome, they'd be higher ranked. But he just doesn't like. He doesn't give.
That's what Big Hard always says.
Yeah, that's
he doesn't
exactly
give
where
WWE
we're
a fair
going
shake.
with that.
Yeah.
I mean, AEW every pay-per-view is a 6-star match, so you know.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy what AEW does, but I think WWE does get a little bit of a curve on their style of wrestling to Dave Meltzer.
That's exactly right. Well,
And
next
Big
we
Hard,
had
I will say you did pretty good. You waited 8 minutes until you brought Meltzer into the podcast, so we're getting better.
Usually that's like in the first minute or two.
Yeah.
And Randall, the next match is one of your favorite wrestlers, Jonathan Coachman.
The coach.
Yo, he defeats Tajiri.
Hey, dude, tongue in cheek on that, but listen, could Coach not work heel or what? He was so good.
He is a good heel. I mean, do you hate him? Yes.
Remember when he ran into the bathroom and Vince is taking a piss and scares Vince and he pisses all over Coach? I'm a kid, I love that. So yeah. I'll wear that. I would wear a John Coach shirt. What are you talking about?
Tajiri is one of my low-key favorites of all time.
Yeah, Tajiri came out looking like just gold, Just he looked so good in this match, but he lost to Jonathan Coachman. I mean, there was some foolery here, but
the
Dan Seltzer gave that a 1.5 star.
Yeah, the buzzsaw
Chris,
kick
be honest.
and the leg slap. Tajiri.
Yeah, you gotta.
Oh, good old
leg
slapper.
God damn it.
And the poison mist is always one of my favorite things done in professional wrestling.
Poison mist is the best. I love me some poison mist. I mean,
Big Hard. Be honest. 8 a.m. this morning. Tell me you weren't watching Coach versus Tajiri.
Oh, I watched Coach versus Tajiri and poison misted myself in the mirror.
You set an alarm for it. All right.
How I started my day. So next we had Chris Jericho defeating Christian and Trish Stratus in a handicap match. Crazy. Meltzer gave that a 3.25 stars. So, and you know what? I'm actually surprised, because I just looked at the next match and the star rating. So, usually Meltzer will give every women's match a dud. This was Victoria defeating Lita for the women's championship, and Meltzer gave this a 1.75 stars. So
didn't hate that.
I don't know. The mac and cheese must have had some good seasoning on it. Mom.
Well, dude, Jericho, Christian, and Trish Stratus, wasn't it?
That was a good feud.
This is right after WrestleMania 20 here, I guess, in 2004, and the Jericho, Christian, Trish Stratus kind of feud and rivalry. That was as a kid, I can remember that getting me. I think Trish turns on Jericho in the Mania match and goes with Christian. Christian can work heel with the best of them still to this day. So there's some good stuff, man.
He can still make you hate him to this day.
Yeah,
so
Meltzer
this is
loved it.
Fun fact. I don't want to date myself, but I'm 1 year away from graduating high school in 2004. And at this point in time, I'm not a professional wrestling fan. Jumped out.
Oh, wow.
I jumped out early. I never seen the debut of John Cena. I missed the whole John Cena era. I missed Shawn's whole second run. So when Shawn left is when I left wrestling, and then I became more a fan of mixed martial arts. So a lot of this wrestling I had to go back and rewatch later because I wasn't a fan at this point in time.
So
I was too busy chasing
back
tail.
into wrestling?
So I started doing the podcast, and I was like, man, I remember being such a huge wrestling fan. And I met a guy who was on the wrestling scene. We went to a couple independent shows, and I was like, I want to talk about wrestling, but I want to talk about that and the indie scene. And we started the Tornado Tag podcast, and that's kind of what got me back in. But the people who, when they told me to start watching again, they said, you should watch because two guys will suck you back into it. And it was Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. And I watched that Royal Rumble, and they both were gone from wrestling right after that Royal Rumble. And I was like, well, why do I watch this? And I think what really got me back in is the Mania where the Hardy Boys came back. And then from then on, I started watching weekly. I started consuming right the talk, our podcast started. We were doing independence and stuff like that. And then that's when the talks of AEW were just getting going, and the trademarks, and so I started doing content around the beginning of AEW, and then been doing it since.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, that's
I remember,
pretty long
Chris,
time now
I don't
so
know
far.
if we were together. I think, Chris, we were together.
Together or together?
Chill out there, Big Hard. What the hell?
Oh, okay.
It's a Hard&Soft Wrestling podcast. Come on, man.
You know what I mean?
Don't make me come over there and shoot on you, dude.
Are you guys island boying it up here right now for views?
Oh,
What's
please.
happening?
Jesus Christ. That's all on Big Hard. We were
working hard on the go, but the hands on the clock keep spinning too slow. All right, hit him with it, Randy.
Oh, you're not gonna finish? All right, you'll finish later.
I'll finish later.
Speaking of finish, so we're in the same room, okay, watching Mania when the Hardys came back, and I remember going on my phone right before their comeback. I think the New Day or whatever was on the stage, and I scrolled on Twitter and I saw a tweet. And it said, just spotted Matt Hardy backstage. So I spoiled it on myself. And I'm like,
oh god.
No!
That was a good comeback though with them.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? That was great.
So even
Jeff Hardy was my guy, man.
Yeah, even I
as a
was
kid.
late in wrestling. I was very smart to it most of my life growing up as a wrestling fan. Like I didn't know dirt sheet stuff, but I could pretty much assimilate like what was going to happen and how things were going to play out. And around that time is when I really got into wrestling. So I'm watching, the dirt sheets and I'm watching everything. And then I remember seeing the night before the Hardys just dropped the ROH tag team titles. So that pay-per-view was a Sunday. They wrestled Saturday. They were wrestling
So
in the
you
same
knew.
town.
Right.
Their contracts were ending that night. They were dropping the ROH titles, and I was like, and they're like, "There's another team." And I literally looked around the room and I go, "I can tell you who's gonna be." And they're like, "No, who?" I go, "It's gonna be the Hardy
Hard and
Boys."
soft.
And they're like, "It's not gonna be the Hardy Boys." I just dude, and we watched it with a house full of people. Like it was a giant WrestleMania party. And that if you're gonna watch or consume professional wrestling, do it with a group of people. It's way better, and you'll have a better time with it. But that's essentially we watched it with a house full of people, and I kind of knew it was coming because of knowing their contracts and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Well, hey, let's. The match that we're actually here to see got a 4.5 star from Meltzer. I mean, I guess I'm not spoiling anything. Randy Orton versus Cactus Jack, no holds barred, falls count anywhere for the Intercontinental title. I mean, great match.
Where does Mick and Randy Orton rank in your all-time favorites?
Well, so Mick Foley, better known Cactus Jack for me, is on my Mount Rushmore. Definitely.
Okay.
I think
neither one are on my Mount Rushmore per se.
Really,
but
Orton's not your guy?
No. That's what I was about to say. Like, my modern day, like, I'm a huge Bret Hart. That's who I grew up liking, Bret Hart. Then it turned into Stone Cold, and then Randy Orton has been ever since. I mean, I swear, Randy Orton is just my guy. But I don't know if he'd per se be on my Mount Rushmore because, I mean, you can't leave out some of the greats. You can't leave out Shawn Michaels or Ric Flair or
your Mount Rushmore is your favorites. Like if you have a realistic Mount Rushmore, then you have your Mount Rushmore. And I will honestly say, Mick is in my top 3, if not maybe 2 wrestler of all time. Shawn's number 1, Mick's a 2 or a 3. I've ever since seeing Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, the whole 9, and just learning about him as a human being. I honestly think, and this is just my opinion, when you fill out your tax forms, they should ask you, are you a pro wrestling fan? And if you hit yes, they should take 0.5% out of every paycheck of every wrestling fan in the country, and they should send it directly to Mick Foley. Because what he did for this business and what he put his body through is disgusting. And I as someone who suffers from chronic body pain, I can't imagine how that guy wakes up every day.
I love listening to his podcast, and like he just seems like the nicest person that could ever be. Like I don't know.
He's always in Pennsylvania.
Besides the Blue Meanie. Besides the Blue Meanie, I mean, he is like one of my favorite wrestlers to meet.
One of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet.
He just treats you like gold. I mean, he treats you like he knows you every time you meet him. And I mean, he doesn't have to do that.
Well,
you walk up to his table and you don't have to drop a dollar on his table. He just appreciates people coming up talking to him.
Yeah, he just wants to talk to you.
Yep.
I work right in Bristol, Philadelphia, and I see the Blue Meanie every once in a while at like my local Wawa, on my lunch break. So sometimes I try not to mark out on him, but I did mark out on him last time as I'm leaving.
I was flying to Vegas.
I said, "Hey, Meanie," and he's just like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
I was flying to Vegas one time.
I was like, "Yes." I called Chris right away.
We were sitting there waiting to get on our plane. And we were sitting in these 2 chairs, and behind us was like a McDonald's in the Philadelphia airport. And it's like a high counter, and you sit at the counter, and you overlook the chairs waiting to get on their plane. So I get up and go grab my bags, and when I stand up and look, I'm literally eye to eye with Meanie, and I'm just like,
"Oh,
what?" And he's like,
"Oh my god!"
And he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him like I'm shocked. And he's like, "You good?" And I was just like, "Blue Meanie." He's like, "Yeah." I go, when I picked my head up, man, you were the last human being I thought I was going to see sitting right there. And he's like,
"What year was that, you think?"
My God, 2000.
I hope he wasn't working. If he was working for Vince, I'm sure.
No, he was not a Vince guy.
For not getting him a better ticket.
Yeah. So essentially, what happened was he was actually going to Vegas as well. Because that week in Vegas, they have this organization that, like, when wrestlers go on hard times or they need they get injured or they go through some stuff, this organization helps fund those wrestlers. And every year they have a giant meeting in Vegas, and I guess I was there the same weekend this big wrestling meeting was happening, and I didn't see one fucking wrestler the whole time I was there, except the Blue Meanie again in a Ben and Jerry's, because my fat ass seen the but I guess that year they inducted Sean into like their Hall of Fame. So I'm like, Meanie, you're telling me Sean's in Vegas right now? And he's like, yes. And I go, where at? And he goes, nope.
Nope. Yeah. He doesn't want to rat on the boys.
Yeah,
but
I think get that up.
Cactus Jack and Mick Foley, man, like he is one of my all-time favorites. Of course, the bumps and the moments are there, but I think for me, when I think of like, because they always say pro wrestling is art. You have to be an artist in there, and Foley's promos and the way he could work a crowd and just get into that character, I think he is by far, you're Chris, you have the Undertaker right behind you. He's another one of those guys, but the art of pro wrestling, I think Cactus Jack was just so tremendous. And we picked this match because this is kind of Randy Orton's he cuts a promo earlier in the show and he's
it is so
pure
good.
heel stuff. He's like, well, I'm the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in the last 7 years. Like, really? Like, it's just such a dick thing to say. But this is like, Orton's obviously on the come up. The rocket ship's on him. But Cactus, like he's done for so many guys.
Era.
Yes.
Yeah, this
like
is
he's
so
done for
good
so
here.
many guys. He just puts these guys over and makes them look like these superstars, man. These badasses. And that's exactly what he did with Orton here.
Yeah.
But then
Mick Foley took, I'm sorry, there's a little bit of delay. I apologize for stepping on you. Mick
Go
Foley
ahead.
took the idea of Mankind, which is this deranged, sick, pulling his own hair out, like terrified children character. And then 5-6 years later, he has balloons, and he took the mandible claw, which made kids cry, and put a sock, like the evolution of what he can do.
Don't talk too hard. Don't.
Yeah.
You don't want to scare Big Hard over there, because
I've
been known to
Randall Sacco's my ass all the time.
If I keep catching black, and I'll throw a soft Sacco out of nowhere, dude. Don't sleep on the Softie here.
But that idea of what he can do with character development is amazing, and that's why in my heart he's one of the best in this business.
Yeah,
he
man.
really is. But next we had
speaking of best in the business.
Yeah, a couple let me up matches. Here we go. Rosie and the Hurricane defeating Rob Conway and Sylvan Grainer for a 1-star.
Remember when Hurricane? I'm sorry, Big Hard, to keep.
Go ahead.
Don't worry, you'll get through this match, guard. I apologize. Yes, and in the 2002, shout out to the Hard&Soft archives. When Hurricane's gonna chokeslam Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Remember when he's gonna do that? And they're just like, dude. What a great moment. Anyway.
Oh god. Then we had Edge defeating Kane for a 1-star. I mean, it was a decent match. I don't know, but then we had a triple threat match, but there was only 2 participants: Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight title.
What are you talking about?
Chris Benoit won.
What, you don't want to mention his name?
4.5 stars. No, I'm just messing around. 4.5 stars Meltzer gave that. I mean, and that WrestleMania 20 match.
Question, and this will dictate if I turn this camera off or not and leave this podcast. Are you guys into that dumb conspiracy that Kevin Sullivan was behind it all and that Chris Benoit didn't do anything?
Who was behind it all? Kevin
God,
Sullivan?
no.
Have you talked to people who believe that conspiracy?
I've never even heard that.
Oh, good, because I hear that
that's
conspiracy and I immediately think of you differently as a human being going forward.
Well, I've never heard of that, but I might search on YouTube all night tonight about it. So.
Yeah, I only say that because the Peacock has literally Triple H and HBK compete in a triple threat match for the WWE title.
Oh, they don't even mention it?
No.
Okay.
They take the name out, but it is what it is.
Kevin Sullivan used to be married to Nancy.
Right.
And Kevin Sullivan's character was a devil worshiper. So the theory is that Kevin Sullivan drugged Chris and staged the whole thing, and he did it and blamed it all on Chris. There's a whole conspiracy that Chris didn't do it. It's like, no,
I mean, come on, that'd be it.
He had severe brain damage and a steroid. And
what's wrong with you as
a
what would be wrong with you as a wrestling fan to even entertain that? I mean, it's stupid. But I mean, that was the main event. 4.5 stars. Chris Benoit won that match. Their WrestleMania 20 match.
Oh my god, yeah. This is
insane.
a run it back match that probably when you think of triple threat matches, like that's got to be the top.
So I forget how this match ended, but WrestleMania 20 ended with him tapping out Triple H. Did he tap out Shawn Michaels in this?
Well,
okay, so
no, he tapped out Hunter.
WrestleMania.
At Mania. But the cool thing is, and you know, of course, there's that thing about Triple H not putting anyone. He's in the office and all. And Shawn, of course, is he's been on top forever. But they actually argued with each other on who was gonna tap out. So that's kind of cool. They really did want to put Benoit over here. And I think every WrestleMania, like you have the Daniel Bryan, then you have the Punk. You have the clear-cut guy who the best wrestler is of that at that time and probably for that year. So, I mean, this was Benoit's year, man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So, I mean, that's the match card right there in a nutshell. I mean, Randall, I know you got a couple highlights here you want to hit up before the match starts.
Let me clear my throat, man, while I'm
you want to clear that? What do you got to
my
LaCroix?
Hard&Soft, no, well, I wish. The Softie over here. No, I'm just pure tap water.
I thought you were drinking a LaCroix while you're smoking a Cheyenne, you know what I mean? Typical,
well, dude, I don't want to...
typical Q-Mart backlot brawl for you.
Yeah, I might have to call off of work tomorrow if I go too hard tonight. Jesus Christ. Take it easy there, Big Hard. Dude, look at that SummerSlam jacket behind you.
Yeah, I would never wear it out in public. You know, well, not because I don't want to, only because I just don't want to ruin it. Yeah,
Where'd you get it?
Not because I'm embarrassed. I got it at a convention, I think in Philly at the 2300 Arena.
Nice.
Did you?
Yeah. Or was it at It was at Allentown. It was the Fairview.
You bought it off Bud Carlson's son, I thought.
Yeah, TJ. Yep. Yeah, but I see him too at the 2300 Arena. But yeah, I bought that. I go to the I just buy random crap. I mean, I just bought this tape of Stone Cold because Stone Cold said so, and I loved watching that as a kid. And if I can find a VHS player, Earthquake.
Oh, I love that. Earthquake is so underrated. Well, here I got.
He really is. I love me an Earthquake. Oh, there we go. There we go. Mick Foley himself.
This is the Walmart exclusive brand. Look at how shredded that Mankind is in this figure. Look at this. Look at this dude. Shredded.
I've never seen Mick Foley with a six-pack.
They put Vince McMahon's body on that. God damn it.
That's the premise.
You look great.
That's the whole premise of this toy line is that they're kind of like a mix between the LGNs and the Hasbros, but then they gave them those the He-Man body shapes, like that's kind of they're everyone's jacked.
How about when Foley is he's doing the sock puppets and the balloons for McMahon. He's in the hospital bed, and McMahon finally had enough. It's Mr. Sock, and then Vince is like, "Damn it, leave."
Yeah.
Damn it.
Anyway,
all right, Riddle, hit us with some notes.
Like we said, if you have your Peacock whipped out, I know ABJ, he's no slacker. He's a professional. He's got his Peacock loaded up and ready. We are at 1 hour, 5 minutes, 30 seconds of Backlash 2004. We're going to lead you up to this match, and this is certainly, I mean, it was my pick. This is one of my all-time favorite matches ever. And these two talents, too, Orton and Foley, this goes down as one of their top matches, too. So this build-up was one of those old-school storylines where, you know, you can trace it back almost, I think it was 10 months before we actually get here to Backlash. So this thing was awesome, man. So, you know, Foley and Orton had established a rivalry months before they stepped foot in the squared circle at Backlash in 04. We go back to June of 2003, where Steve Austin, and several ECW originals were going to give Mick Foley kind of like this ceremony, presenting him with the hardcore title and kind of like almost like a send-off for the hardcore legend, right? Even McMahon struts down there. And Big Hard,
did he tear any quads? Or
I don't know if he tore any quads, but can you commentate him coming down?
He's gonna puke.
Okay, there you go.
Is that what he says every time? No matter who's in the ring?
Every time he comes out, that's all he says.
Every podcast we've said that probably 4 or 5 times. Anyway.
R.I.P. Dross.
What a maneuver.
Oh, man.
He just passed away.
Yeah.
God.
And funny enough, I watched Meanie wrestle in 2300 Arena not too long ago, and he had a tape around his arm, and it said Dross on it. I know they were really tight.
Yeah, they were.
After the presentation, Monday Night Raw goes to a break, and when they come back, they cut to a scene backstage where Foley is signing his new book for Vince, and that's when Evolution's Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, and Randy Orton walk by. Foley tries to compliment the tag team, which leads to Flair firing some live rounds at Foley, and the segment ends with, you'll probably remember this, guys, Orton kicking Foley down the steps, the stairway at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah. an
Dude,
iconic moment there.
He flopped down them steps, man.
And Foley and Flair not had at one point in time legit heat with each other.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and
they
that
are
kind of
working
stems back
together
to
nicely.
WCW days when I guess Rick was. There's always two sides of the story, but in Foley's book, Rick was the booker, and I don't know. I'm a big Nature Boy, Mark. So
He said he's not a wrestler; he's a glorified stuntman.
Yeah,
that was the sentence in Flair's book, right? Anyway, in Mick's book, Foley said that he got his head split open during this segment and actually needed to get 5 stitches when he was laying down there in the on the stairway. However, because of the camera angle, you couldn't see any of the blood, which of course disappointed Foley, the hardcore legend. Bang bang!
of course.
I had to throw that. I was so excited to do that. I woke up
Were
this
you
morning. I was
practicing
like,
all day?
oh yeah, at work.
Okay.
I was like, guys, does this look good? During the next.
Yeah, Randall, it looks great.
Shut up, big heart, dude. Let me go get my LaCroix out the fridge. During the next several weeks, the Legend Killer character of Orton, which was awesome, right?
Oh,
was really starting to get over and pick up some steam. And that's kind of what Foley, he took a liking to Orton's character work, and then obviously his in-ring stuff was good from day one, being a second or is he a third generation superstar or second generation? Okay.
Yep.
I actually got to hang out with his dad one time. I helped do a meet and greet and hung out
No
with his
shit.
dad the entire time. Yeah, he was a really nice guy.
Chris, you kind of look like Cowboy Bob Orton. Anyway.
Thank you.
Picked up the phone and pitched an idea to Vinnie Mac himself. The idea was for the hardcore legend to actually walk out and chicken out of the main events against Orton, which got some heat backstage. A lot of guys, Taker was one of them, didn't like that idea. Thought like, how could you be this hardcore legend? Then you're gonna do that. The fans are never gonna.
Yeah, you're gonna wuss out on a
take you
match
back.
like that.
But on December 15th, 2003, Foley would return for one more match against Randy Orton for Randy's IC title. Foley and Randy got in the ring. Mick took a couple of looks around the crowd, goes to the entranceway, and actually walks out of the main event. Mick goes backstage, grabs his bag, and goes to leave the arena. Orton actually catches up with Foley and on camera spits right in his face, which is probably another image you could remember.
I remember hearing Foley talk about that, and he wanted Orton to just hawk.
Lay it
loogie,
in, man.
Right? Yeah, you got to be committed to take a loogie. So.
Yeah. That's a t-shirt right there. But Foley doesn't retaliate. He leaves the arena.
Spit in my mouth, Randy.
We got ABJ in the building. Don't tempt me with a good time. The big softy, man. I've never been hard. Oh, God damn it. How does Cornette order?
Shit.
Never mind. Mick Foley was now off TV for a couple weeks, but 2 weeks later on Monday Night Raw, Foley's music plays with Orton coming down the entrance ramp. Classic heel stuff. Orton continues to berate the hardcore legend, saying that stepping into the ring with the Legend Killer would have been the biggest mistake of his life. And
Can I derail real quick?
Go ahead.
I have 3 favorite moments when a wrestler came down as another wrestler, and 2 of them are The Undertaker. So this is a good moment where he comes out with his music. But after Shawn beats Taker in I believe a buried alive or a casket match, or they light him on fire or something like that. I forget what it was. But Shawn comes out as The Undertaker the next night on Raw and then takes it off, and they're doing like a grilling segment. They're like, how do you like your Undertaker? And he's like, they're cooking big sausages and shit. And then the other one is when Dolph Ziggler was doing the whole music.
Yeah.
I'm all like he goes, because no one respected his wrestling. He's like, all you just want is a gimmick, so I'll just give you a gimmick.
Right.
Guy's so underrated, but he come out as Taker, and everyone's like, wait a second. And then he says, you thought The Undertaker was here? He goes, what, twice in 1 year? God, I miss the 90s.
Yeah, Taker doesn't take too many bookings nowadays anyway.
Yeah.
Orton here, again, classic heel stuff. This stuff is so good. He makes Lillian Garcia come in the ring right there and announce him, after Foley walks out as still the Intercontinental Champion. She's pretty roll tide, dude.
Her.
She's a lot better than the Fink. I don't know. The Fink was pretty good, though.
I'll take either.
Yeah,
I kiss Fink.
Yeah,
I'll mark out for the Fink.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Where am I?
And
I'll tell you what,
the
girl that Ricochet is dating, she is really, really good. I like her as a ring announcer.
Dude, how about what? Here's a question for you. What do you think of Logan Paul, ABJ?
Thought he's been doing really well.
And it's ABJ, not ABJ.
and BJ, or however you said it. No, I think he's doing really well. I think he's putting on some good matches. I think he's playing the heel thing very well, and he's doing a fine job as a professional wrestler.
I like how they kind of blurred the lines of reality and added Ricochet's girlfriend into that story for SummerSlam. I thought it was well done.
It definitely added some heat to him, so
yeah,
that was good.
So we fast forward to January of 2004 here. Randy actually buys a front row ticket for Monday Night Raw that night for Foley. So Foley could come in and watch Orton defend his IC title against Rob Van Dam. Orton retains the Intercontinental Championship here in a great match against RVD, but Foley does not show up to sit front row. So again, Foley kind of playing that cowardly character where he's having second thoughts on his comeback or his career.
Because Foley's a nice guy. He didn't want to be sadistic anymore. He's changed a new leaf. He's a different human. But Cactus is.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
And speaking of nice guys, again, we go back to goddamn the Blue Meanie Man. The first 2300 show me and Big Hard went to, we're going to leave, and we see Meanie at the end. We're like, all right, Meanie, have a good night, man. He just goes, have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Such a normal guy.
I'm going to be honest. There's not many people that I've met that I didn't think that were like, there's only one, maybe twice I had an experience where they were not good people. But everyone I've ever met or everyone I got to work with, because I've been really fortunate to help with meet and greets where I get to sit with a talent for like 4 hours and just talk to them. Because like after the first hour of a convention, nobody cares anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they all so like I got to hang out with a lot of cool people, man. And everyone's just so like, they're super cool people.
Well, you're ABJ, dude. They gotta be.
Yeah.
Throw a Big Heart in there, they might smack him around. Anyway, the following week, the sheriff of Monday Night Raw. What? Whiskey? What? Jalapeno burger? What?
What?
The dude?
What?
SummerSlam?
Dude, that was only 2, dude?
That was only 2, dude. Shout out to the dude, man. What a performer. What a local guy, man.
Don't eat his gummy bears.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, it's funny. His character work is so good that like his in-ring stuff is almost second nature. It's like I want to see him just act like an idiot.
If you want to learn more about the dude, head over to the ABJ podcast. I did a whole episode with the guy, and you learn a lot about the dude outside of being the dude.
Check out ABJ podcast archives there. Hit him up.
Good kid,
so
good kid.
Steve Austin cuts a promo on the dude. I'm just kidding, Mick Foley, where Austin said that he could not believe that Mick was allowing Orton to get away with all this over the past few weeks, and that he's sure that this is not the same Mick Foley that he's known for years. Austin orders Foley to appear at the Royal Rumble that was in 6 days, and if Mick doesn't show up, then Foley was breaking the sheriff's law. And God damn it, that is just something you don't do.
I
wrote in here my notes. What? Like, just in case I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm the softie.
You'll never forget that.
So we get to the Rumble here. One of my favorite Rumbles of all time, too. Just so many great moments. And Orton enters at number 2 and has a great showing. That was until the hardcore legend Mick Foley makes his comeback as the 21st entrant of this year's Rumble. He hits Orton with his... Easy there, Big Heart. I can't wait for you to mess up tonight. I'm going to call you out.
Well, I mess up too many times.
The iconic top rope clothesline and eliminates both of the guys. So an awesome moment. Again, a part of this rivalry that I can flash back to very vividly.
Heck yeah, man.
The brawl ensues on the outside where Foley took some serious chair shots to the head, and Foley took a nasty bump on the entranceway. Bang, bang!
Bang,
I wrote bang, bang in there again.
Wait. Did you put these in?
What, the emojis?
He drew them on
Yeah,
paper.
like, did you draw them in?
I'm not that serious.
Dang it.
Anyway, the next night on Raw, okay, we're getting here. Foley came out and explained himself. He told the story that during his pro wrestling career, his best attribute was his ability to channel all that anger and hatred for his opponents into almost inhuman acts and be able to do these superhuman things. But once he retired after the Hell in the Cell with Triple H, all of that anger was gone. He said that he should have never accepted the match against Orton in the first place. And then he calls Orton down to the ring. He gets face-to-face with Randy and asks him to spit in his face again.
Oh.
Randy Orton kind of acts kind of a little bit confused.
It's like a kink
and
at this point. Calm down, Tony Atlas.
I can hear Big Hard getting a little excited over there. God damn it. He's gonna puke. Orton kind of acts like he doesn't want to spit in his face. But Foley goes ahead and gives him a nice stiff slap right there in the chop. So that makes Orton oblige with the request and once again spit in the face of the hardcore legend. Mick then wants Randy to spit on the other side of his face. God damn it. And of course, Orton does. We get some gross kind of close-ups of Foley's face, and Foley said it's not the spit on my face that angers me, it's the fact that you can call yourself a hardcore legend. By calling yourself that, you are not just spitting in the face of my legacy, but the wrestling business as a whole. Foley then begins throwing some stiff shots at himself, providing some color to the scene, and says that he is ready to destroy Orton. Yeah, he did an old Moxley, bladed himself right there on live TV.
No, you blade on the back, and then glue it, and then clean up, and then punchers. That's what they do.
Well, you say, Tony Khan, get a close-up here, and then he just...
Yeah,
Anyway.
no, but usually when a guy, unless he punched himself until it bled, but sometimes they'll do is they'll blade a hair, and then they glue it, and then they clean up, and then they go out, and when they punch, it just reopens.
Yeah, like
Chris,
Tommy
you should try
Dreamer.
that tonight.
Well, Tommy Dreamer just uses Dorito nowadays. I heard
Yeah, that's all
on
you
one of
need.
his podcasts, that's all he needs, and he can cut himself
Yeah,
open.
John Moxley, you
Jesus
just go,
Christ.
and he just,
Quick, get a close-up, He's
Yeah.
blading. It's the blade spot. Foley starts to kind of get the upper hand of Randy there right in the ring, starts unloading on him. Batista and Flair hit the ring to take down Foley, but Foley's able to even the odds with the old trusty steel chair and lays out Evolution with the show actually coming to a conclusion there on Monday Night Raw. So in the next weeks to come, Foley would try to fight Randy, of course, only to be outnumbered by Evolution. After multiple attempts, Foley kind of gives in to the idea that he can't overcome the team of Evolution on his own, and he calls to an old friend for some help. On March 1st, the episode of Monday Night Raw, The Rock makes his surprise appearance and hits the ring to take out Evolution to a massive pop. So classically, of course, WrestleMania 20, here we come. It's Randy, Flair, and Batista versus The Rock and Sock Connection, Foley and The Rock. Foley puts a tremendous amount of pressure on himself for a shoot, which you can visibly see in the pre-match promos. Foley would say that during his wrestling career, he always went out there with a mentality to steal the show and hit a home run. But during this night at MSG, he just didn't want to mess anything up, which was different from Mick, obviously. This is also Mick's first match back in 4 years, not counting, of course, the Rumble appearance. And he felt that he kind of dropped the ball, even though the match itself was a huge hit. And one of those kind of like most iconic moments in wrestling. Foley wrote in his book, "We didn't exactly stink the joint out, but we didn't tear it down either. We had a good match, but a good match wasn't what I was looking for." And not after 4 years away, and not after this long build-up that him and Randy put all that work into. So this is going to bring us to Backlash 2004. Foley wanted some redemption. Obviously the long storyline, the build-up is there, but this WrestleMania 20 showing just wasn't up to snuff for him personally. So he kind of.
I don't have a visual memory of what Mick looked like at that WrestleMania, but at this Backlash, he looks good. He's like one of the thinnest I've probably ever seen Mick his entire life. He's toned. He kind of looks like that figure. Like the guy is killing it right here in this match.
Yeah,
he looks like he took it very seriously.
Well, and even though Mick is beat up and he's been through wars in Japan and wars in WCW with Vader and all these moments, dude, let's not forget, after this, he goes to Mania 22 against Edge. Shout out to the Hard&Soft Archives. What a tremendous hardcore match that was. So Foley still had some steam in him, man.
Yeah.
Heck
What's
yeah.
your favorite Foley match? Or Mick Foley in general, any character?
For me, this one's up there, but it's going to be WrestleMania 22, him and Edge for me.
Okay. It wasn't a hardcore match. It was more of a wrestling match, but I thought him and Shawn at Bad Blood, Mick Foley versus Shawn Michaels is up there for me.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite matches right there.
And normally when I hear favorite match, HBK is right in there. I like, sometimes I'm like, oh, another Shawn match, but I love Shawn.
Yeah,
You can't have a bad one with the guy.
God damn it.
He's gonna puke.
So Foley wanted some redemption here for Backlash and got Orton to accept the match at Backlash by telling Randy that the only way he could call himself the hardcore legend was if Randy could beat Foley in the middle of the ring. So here we go. Backlash 04. Evolution is banned from the building. It's for the IC strap, and of course it will be contended under hardcore rules. And like their first match on Raw, Foley wasn't going to show up. But in his place, it would be Cactus Jack. Bang, bang!
Bang bang!
Anyway, so
Here
we're
we
here.
are.
We're
Here we are.
1 hour.
Ready to watch it.
5 minutes, 30 seconds. We got Big Hard in the building. Of course, the Big Softie's here. And we got freaking ABJ in the building, dude. Thank you so much for doing this.
I'm having a blast.
You said 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 30 seconds.
Excuse me while I whip this out. 1 hour.
You know what? I think that ABJ should be doing the countdown today,
The
right?
guest
We gotta
appearance.
have the guest of honor do the countdown tonight.
So, since we all here love ABJ,
Yes.
would you
And
want to
even
go
if you
3,
hate
2,
ABJ,
1,
I got
or
a
1, 2,
T-shirt
3?
for that too. Give me your money.
Smart marketing, dude. We got to take some notes.
Do you see the new shirt I just put out?
Which one is
Oh,
it?
what is it? Big Hard can
So-
suck a dick? Oh, no.
No, so it's remember I'm a Paul Heyman guy?
Yeah.
It's that font and that blockade layering, but I wanted to be inclusive in the day and age we live, you know. And I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just being honest because a lot of people in this business, there's a lot of representation of different people and stuff. So I just wrote, I'm a fan of ABJ,
There it is. There it
and then
is.
real small podcast.
Oh yeah. That's a good shirt.
So just a
I
black
could
shirt.
see wearing that out in public.
Yeah, black shirt, big lettering. I'm a fan of ABJ, and then podcast right there. And I
So-
just
I
came
love
out.
When
There's
I
I love it.
There's also another one with white font, and it says ABJ Pod, and the pod's in an orange box. That's available right now. I don't know what that one stands for. And then there's another one. And no offense to you guys, but I feel as someone who's been doing this a long time, there's only one podcast you should listen to, and it's only ABJ's. So there's an only ABJ's. I don't know. There's another website, I guess, it's called Only Something, but it looks very similar, the old logo and the new logo, and it just says only ABJ's and then podcast right there on the bottom.
do you know, speaking of
I love
only,
it. I love
only
it.
ABJ, you know, the only OnlyFans subscription Big Hard subscribes to. Do you know, remember Big Dick Johnson?
Isn't he like a right-wing politician now?
Could be, but Big Hard will tell you more. Here, when I post this video, dude, send me the
I-
link for that T-shirt, the small letter podcast one. I gotta get Big Hard's birthday's coming up. I want to surprise him with
Oh
something.
my god.
That'd be great.
October 27th, buddy, hit me up. You know
Love
what
it. I
to
love
do.
it. A lot of good merchandise. My guy who does a lot of my stuff is logos by Hunter. The kid does great work, so if you're looking for stuff, hit him up.
Sweet, man.
I
All
have
right,
over
ABJ.
100 T-shirts, and no one buys any of them, so there's a bunch out there.
Well,
There's
you
a
got
shout out to
Big Hard right
ABJ.
here ready.
There's an
Go hit
ECW
up
one that
his
says
merch
A
shop.
F N B J.
I've seen you.
Oh.
I've seen you in that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I need that. I think
Yeah.
I actually need that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Chris, I'll buy you that one if you buy me the something else.
I'll buy you something.
Yeah, make it nice.
Her.
God damn
Sons
it.
of Frost.
He's gonna.
ABJ, you're gonna hit us off with this countdown. You
All
do
right.
it how you want to do it, but we're all queued up. We're ready to go. Let's hit this match started.
All right,
Excuse
get it
me
ready.
while I whip this out.
And it's gonna be countdown from 3, 2, 1, fight. Little sanctuary.
There we
Dude.
go. And the first shot you see is Cactus Jack with a barbed wire 2x4 in his hand.
Can
You
we
know,
talk about how this is ABJ's first appearance on the Hard, and that was the best, most official countdown I've ever heard in my.
You can
damn
clip
life.
it. You can keep using it. So, as a smart wrestling fan right here, Randy Orton's wearing a T-shirt, which already throws red flags to me that Randy's gonna do something.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna take shots because he's wearing a T-shirt because he's like, you know what I mean? Like, this is when you think, oh, he's gonna baby a hardcore match because he's wearing a T-shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
gotta
just
get
like
to the
a
text.
street fight where they wear jeans, like
Yeah.
Triple H and Shawn Michaels wearing
Well,
full
jeans is cool. Jeans is I'm okay with jeans. The only problem is if you're gonna do a street fight, independent wrestlers, you need to wear jeans, right? You need to have a big belt buckle. Your boots your pants better be tucked into your goddamn boots, and there better be way too many bandanas on or around your legs or pants in your pockets.
You need all that.
And a white T-shirt.
Here we go. Oh.
So here's the thing too. All my merchandise, not trying to throw another plug, but I sell a white
Plug it up.
version. I sell a white version of every one of my shirts for a reason. If someone ever wants to do a death match or hardcore and they want to wear my shirt, it'll look cool stained in blood. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would. You know what I would love to have? A shirt off
Dick
the back
Johnson's
of
OnlyFans?
somebody.
Sorry.
Oh my god! Well, I already have that subscription, Randall.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But you know
$6.99 a
what?
month.
And you keep texting me every day for the passcode. You're not getting it.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Okay, I'm not sharing it.
I'm
I
your
heard
shoot
that if
brother. Let's go.
OnlyFans texted me and told me that if I give my password, they're gonna cancel my
It's like
account.
Netflix.
So, you know
Yeah,
what
it's
I
like
mean?
Netflix. You can't.
OnlyFans texted you. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I recently,
Big hard.
I have a friend who her guitar recently just broke, and she has one of my old podcast stickers on the guitar. So it's actually this one here with my old logo, and this is on the guitar. And the guitar was used to smash a wrestler in the head, and it didn't break the way it should have broke, and it cut the shit out of the wrestler like bad.
Oh, jeez.
So the piece of guitar with my sticker on it is just soaked in coagulated blood. So there's hope maybe that's something that would be gifted to ABJ in the future, where it's going to be like a piece of a guitar.
Man. Imagine
with
that hanging in
soaked
the
blood,
collection.
yeah.
That's a good
Big Hard. That's
collection
right up your alley, dude.
Oh man, we got all types of good stuff going on. Here we go. Big leg drop from Cactus Jack right there.
Dude, and this is and ABJ again. Thank you so much, man. But this is what it's all about for me and Big Hard, Shoot Brothers. You know, what would
Yeah, we're
we be
Shoot
doing?
Brothers.
What would we be doing? We'd probably just be chilling out on our phones, sitting on the couch or something. But no, like we're doing this podcast. We're, you know, it gives us an opportunity to sit here and watch wrestling and do what we love to do. So it's a shout out to our past, and this is just awesome, man. Thank you so much for being on. Tell us a little bit about what it takes to be, because you've done some commentary for live wrestling. What's that like? That's got to be, you know, it's a cool thing to think, but it's got to be a challenging thing when you're actually there doing it.
So I started my first ever time doing commentary. I was offered it back in the day, and I kept turning it down because I felt like I did a little bit of backstage interviews, and I didn't like it. Because like what I started doing this content thing, and I wanted to be something. Two of the people that I really looked up to in the industry growing up was Howard Stern. I was a huge Howard Stern guy, and I love Kevin Smith, and I always wanted to be apologetically me. Like, I will live and die on my sword. If something is done or said, it's going to be on my name, on my brand. I'm not going to play a character. I'm not going to put content out that is shticky or like, you know, I'm going to stand by what I put out, and it's going to be me. Like, if you meet me off camera, I'm the same person on camera, and that's what I wanted to stick through my whole time. Because there's a lot of, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but there's a lot of content creators that you meet people and who they are on their camera and who they are in real life is they're playing a character, and they're doing what needs to be done to get successful as a content creator. I know how to get popular. I just choose to stay who I am as a person and make the content I want to make, and that's just who I've always been. But so when I did backstage interviews, I laughed too much. I smiled too much. And then sometimes people would get handsy, and I didn't really like that. I was like, no, don't touch me like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm a tough guy, but like, you're not going to be the guy to grip me up. Are you crazy? I will kick you in your face. I am a PA boy. You know what I mean? I'm a coal region PA boy. I'm not afraid to lose a fight. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah. So I was like, the backstage thing isn't for me. And then I was offered 2 wrestling commentary positions, and I was both recommended by people who were very talented. Pete DeLong brought me in for the Sanctuary. That was on Sunday, and then I was brought in by on PPW on a Saturday. So I did PPW on Saturday night. I got to call some pretty big names and some pretty good matches, and then I went to Sanctuary and I called a match there. So I did 2 in one weekend.
I think you
I've only
actually
been to
called
one
the
PPW, and it was awesome.
I think he was called. I think you were at the commentary table for the PPW show that we went to.
Really?
Who was the I always remember by the name. Who was the name?
I don't know. I swear that you were there though, over there by the commentary.
Who was a
table.
champion when you guys were there?
Oh, the champion.
I can't even remember, man.
It was a night where the fans brought their own weapons.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
someone got a dildo?
Alpha
did the
Junior,
dildo thing.
Alpha
Yeah,
Ju-
that was the night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
There
was
you
the
go.
night.
I was
Yep.
on commentary.
I went
for
up
that,
to
yeah.
I went into Alpha, and I was like, after the thing, I was like, dude, that was the best dildo spot I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went there. I went there a couple months ago without you.
Oh, we got
Randall.
Sacco. We got
Sacco's out. I went to PPW a couple months ago, and they had a tribute show for Sal Balomo, which was
Oh yeah.
old wrestler in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
And actually, some people I know actually know him firsthand, like uncle and the family, and they did a tribute show, and Alpha Jr. let us come up on the stage and take a picture and everything.
Nice.
And I mean, I felt like I was the coolest kid. You know what I mean? Like getting to go up on the stage, it was so much fun.
One of my favorite moments
promotion is great, man.
When they inducted Dr. Frank into the Hall of Fame. And speaking of Foley, Dr. Frank's the guy who sewed up Mick's head and face in Hell in a Cell with Taker.
Oh God.
Yeah.
He took his tooth out of his nose and sewed his gum
Orton's-
shut and gave him his teeth back.
Orton's busted open here.
Yeah.
You think
Yeah,
that was a
Foley-
hard way, or you think he cut himself there?
I think that might have been
What
a
do you
hard way.
think?
Yeah, I think
Foley-
that might have been
think?
a legit. I think the barbed wire legit got him.
It
Um,
looks
Yeah,
like
there's
a pretty,
no
looks like a pretty
working
long
barbed wire
gash.
when it comes to Foley, dude. No, that's
You know,
the
and I
real
don't
shit.
care what anybody says about Orton. You know, he's not a hardcore wrestler. Watch this match, man.
Well, and that's
I
the
mean-
thing. That's why this story is so good, Chris. I don't mean to cut you off. You are the big hard, the hardest one of them all. But
thank
you know,
you.
it was kind of standard stuff, right? Like Foley was kind of shining in the beginning, and they were telling that story where Randy was walking up the entranceway trying to get out of here, right? But then Randy kind of gets the upper hand, does the big suplex on the ramp, the backdrop on the ramp, and
What do you think's
now,
in that box?
Oh, it's the box of gimmicks. But now we're in this big brawl,
It's
and
Kevin
now we're
Spacey's
going.
head.
Now the
We got
It's
the
a
big
seven
knee.
was a 7 reference. But yeah, so the commentary thing. Going into it, I always thought to myself, I wanted to do something different. I growing up, I loved Bobby. I loved Gorilla. I loved. I always liked Michael Cole. I know people give him a lot of shit. I liked Graves watching him on TV.
Oh, Big Hard loves Michael Cole.
I love Michael Cole.
Yeah, I like Michael Cole
He-
now
oh,
that he
he-
doesn't have Vince in his ear. And then
He's so much better. That is true.
Yeah, and I'm also a fan of when Jesse Ventura was on commentary, but I always wanted to be something different. So I brought in my personality with commentary and my humor, but also knowing that I can be serious and funny and kind of like, oh, I'm an interviewer, so I got inside information on people. So I was kind of using that stuff too, and I try to stand out and be me, and I was doing this style where I was like laughing and doing like stuff you shouldn't do on commentary, but people were liking it. But then like Pat McAfee hits the scene, and he's kind of doing his thing, which is very similar to what I was doing on commentary. So it kind of became more acceptable, and it helped me more because it was being done on a mainstream level. And then it was like, well, Blackwell, like you're in the same boat. Like you're a commentator. I also was a kicker and punter in high school, just putting it out there for the brand, baby. Grew up as a soccer player who turned into a kicker. But anyway, so it kind of helped me become like accepted. Like you'll hear people put on Twitter or stuff like a commentary, like I can't stand when commentators try to get over themselves on commentary and they don't make it about the match. And I can't stand an insert wrestler who says that. And then I go, my bad. And they go, that doesn't apply to you. Like that's what they'll write back. Right. My theory is I drove probably just as far and just as hard and worked just as much as you did to get in the match, and you worked for 8 minutes and I did an hour and a half and called 11 matches in one night. I'm getting the fuck over. I don't give a shit what anybody says. You know what I mean? Like I'm just a part of the show as you are as the wrestler, and I have a brand I'm trying to get. Like people talked about UFC and they talked about Joe Rogan. Like Joe Rogan was the UFC guy and the podcast guy. So I just came in as that mentality, like if you listen to me on commentary, you're going to be like, yo, that guy's entertaining, and then where else can I find him? And I just kind of kept that mentality, that attitude of being that style of commentary, and it's worked out pretty well, and wrestlers and fans seem to really like it. But unfortunately, I'm taking a break.
We got the fire being teased here.
Yeah, we got
Big
fire
Hard,
on the barbed wire right here.
Big Hard, can you do the commentary for Eric Bischoff right now? What's he telling Foley?
Foley,
Use your spot, dude.
put that lighter down. You're not going to light that up. I'm going to send you a FedEx tomorrow if you do it.
I'm pissed.
Fire you in the mail.
Goddamn,
What?
son, I'm pissed off. What are you
What?
pissed off about?
Fun fact, Foley's the guy who used to wear a t-shirt at ECW that said, I'm a fan of Eric Bischoff, just to piss people off.
Yeah, man.
And look at, like, Foley literally teased the crowd. The crowd wants this fire so bad, and they're not going to get it.
Isn't
They're
that
not gonna
crazy
get
too?
it.
That's kind of what got the eye of Vince and the WWF at the time when Foley would start doing
look
that
at this.
gimmick in ECW where he would
Gotta have
like
a
kind of
cookie
turn on
sheet.
the fans and
Look at the sell job by
go
Orton.
against the hardcore. Nice
Good.
cookie sheet shot.
Yeah, I mean, the knee. Look at him. He's still selling the knees up like he can't even move.
Is that
Yeah,
Mike
Foley
Chioda
does
in the
look
ring
good
too?
here.
Mike Chioda.
Oh, Mike Chioda. Have you seen Mike Chioda in the bathroom, Randall? I know you've seen Earl Hebner.
Well, okay, all right. Well, you're making it seem like I'm out there searching for.
Well, I
I'm
thought
watching refs.
I
out
thought
here,
you were
man. Come on.
hog watching. I thought you were hog watching.
Only referees, only hog watching referees.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes. The zebra. Let me go catch
Oh
him.
man, here we go. We got the barbed wire plywood.
Well,
Earl
and
Hebner
ABJ,
one time
that's,
he wrestled. He did a referee the main event at Outbreak Wrestling, and after the show was over, we were cleaning up commentary because I did commentary on the show. And I walked up to Earl and we had a case of water because the Hamburg Fieldhouse is a goddamn sauna.
Ugh.
And yeah,
That's what Chris always says. Yeah.
yeah. So I went to give Earl a bottle of water. I was like, "Yo, man, you need some water?" And he goes, "Boy, are you crazy? You gonna fuck up my buzz?" And he had 2 Coors Lights in his hand. Earl Hebner's the man.
The Heb. Yeah, that one
The
night
Heb.
he just started talking to us at the convention. You know what I mean? It's just so cool because they don't have to talk to you. You know what I mean? They don't.
By Foley.
He actually
don't have to
spoiled.
pay
He
any
actually
attention.
spoiled. He
Oh, my
spoiled
God.
the Impact Championship for me later. Well, he spoiled it, and then a couple weeks later, I met the guy who was going to be the Impact World Champion afterwards, and he told me backstage in a converse, not me personally, but it was a bunch of us around hanging out, and he essentially told the boys that he was winning the title, and I was like, And then I never leaked it. And then he came back to PPW. He's like, "Are you a podcaster?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "And you didn't leak anything that we said in that room that day?" I said, "No, I did not." And he goes, "That's why you're going to do well in this business."
Yeah, hell no.
And I gained the respect of a talent that day. And then Moose went on to win the Impact World Championship, brought it to PPW, and then handed it to me on commentary to hold the title for him. And I was like,
Well,
that is the
Didn't we
fucking
see
Impact
Moose
World
at 2300
Championship.
Arena?
Moose.
that?
Yeah, we did.
Nice
Yeah, we
guy.
saw Moose at the 2300 Arena.
For House of
Didn't he do
Hardcore.
this spot where he put his hand down his pants and then like smacked it in the guy's face?
Yeah,
it
and then I
was-
looked
Oh,
over at you
God.
and you were popping. Big Heart was
I was
popping.
like, yo, put it in my face.
yeah. Hit me in the mouth.
Well,
Oh,
ABJ,
Foley
man.
back into the freaking barbed wire
I think your mentality, man,
Good
like I
drop
said
kick.
before, around this area, you have a very high reputation with guys at Suplex Vintage and around. And I think the fact that you do commentary, I don't know if you're still doing that, but
I am
you
taking
have
a little
all
bit of a
these-
break because I am starting a new job. And
Right.
funds right now for me are tough. My car's broke down. I'm going through a lot personally, so I have to take a little bit of a time away from the pro wrestling world and commentary till I get back on my feet. But I hope to make a return at some point in time. But yeah, commentary will be something I'm not going to be doing for the foreseeable future.
Well, you'll always have a spot in the space because every time I look, I see you interviewing different guys, and I think one thing that you did say was, "Dude, be nice to these guys because you never know who they're going to turn into." And then it's like, "Oh, Anthony Blackwell was a nice guy to me. Hey, yeah, I'll be on your podcast now that I'm in AEW," or just saying, like, you never know. So I think you're doing some
you
really
never
good
know
stuff.
where
man.
anybody goes.
There's people
gotta be
who
good to
I haven't had
everybody.
on the podcast, but people I've worked with on the indie scene who are now wrestling in AEW that I became friends with before they blew up, and I see them and I'm like, didn't think they would remember who I am, and then they see me and they're like Willow Nightingale, I worked with her before she got signed. Action Andretti at PPW, like I seen him at a show and he was like PPW, and he was like fist bumping me like it is cool, man, because our area in the Northeast area right now is just so chocked full of amazing talented people. And support your independent wrestling because you never know who you're going to go see this weekend.
Here's
And
one of the
Randy
best. I
Randy
don't mean to
Orton
cut you off,
takes
but here's one of the
yeah.
best bumps of. And look at the visual by
Look at
Vince never
Randy
misses
Orton
a
selling
camera
that.
shot, man.
Oh my god.
And dude, the reason I love this stuff so much, and when pro wrestling, I always say this: pro wrestling can be a bunch of things. It could be gimmicky, it could be silly, but when it's really good, there's absolutely nothing better in this earth than good pro wrestling.
That sell job right there.
Throughout this match, as a fan, without
All
even
on his
realizing,
forearm and his wrist.
And he
when
kicks out.
when Orton does the crossbody sidewalk slam or whatever to the bed full of barbed wire, and you gain sympathy for Foley, but you see Randy crawling with a smile on his face, covered in color. You start to like, oh my god, Orton's in this fight, and he starts
Look
to
at
get
him
over
picking him out of his hand.
Yeah.
They do it so well.
So right now,
So-
Randy Orton, also known as the second generation wrestler, third generation, whatever he may be, who never worked the indie scene. Everything was handed to him. He never really earned his stripes. And now he took the shirt off that we said as a smart fan, you're thinking, oh, that's going to be there
Right.
to protect him. And he
And then-
takes the thumbtack spot. Now you know what's happening right here?
Is he
As a
trying
smart-
to get
as
some
a-
tax out of his back?
They're literally picking tax out of his back right now. Like nothing's happened. He went backstage to get
Who's
tax
back
out
there,
of.
Vince? God damn it! Let me. God damn
Right
it.
now, there's
Just give me
probably
a protein
three.
shake.
There's probably 3 people picking tax out of him right now because he's gonna.
Big Dick Johnson, get over here with
Yeah.
that baby oil. We need
Vince,
some
get
tax
your
out of his
shirt
back.
back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably had to get all the one because he had a whole bunch in his hand, so they probably got all them out of his hand. And he was like, "Well, I guess." Oh my God! He just throws him off the
Dude, what a
entranceway.
spot. And I think that bump, probably more than anything, is like the wake up call for the crowd. Like, holy shit, what
Does
are we
Mick
watching?
Foley? Does Mick Foley do an elbow drop here?
He sure does. Yes.
I think that's what he does. Oh man, this is good.
The Big Man!
And is this a Falls Count Anywhere match?
It is a false count anywhere match.
Okay,
Good job,
yeah.
Chris. You were listening.
Okay, yeah.
Listen to the Big Softies lead up. And it's crazy, too, ABJ. You were talking about like seeing people and you don't think that they're going to remember who you are or whatever. I just ran into Steve Austin and he was like, "What's up, Big Softy?"
Yeah. Actually, my two mark moments were people
goddamn, son.
that are pretty big names remembered who I was from working with them at meet and greets. Tessa Blanchard was one who like the next time I seen her, she remembered me. Mercedes Martinez was another one who like she requested me. I seen Lance Archer at a different convention and I was like, "Hey man, I don't remember." He goes, "Yeah, what's up, Anthony?" And I was like, "That was cool."
What the hell?
Yeah.
Wow.
Rachel Ellerling was another one that was super sweet that I met, and she remembered like because you think, man, like they take so many bookings there and they work so much on the scene, like they're not gonna remember who you are. You're some guy that worked at a convention with them for a couple bins. Another guy.
Wait, did Foley take powder to his face? This is the first time I'm noticing this.
No. Earlier in the
minutes
match,
into this
early in the match, he took a powder spot.
He did the Fuji spot. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I get excited when I go to the Speedway in
go.
the morning and the lady remembers me from the week before.
Yeah, but another person I will give all the world, and I hope WWE brings him back. Big Damo
Nice
was
camera
one of the
shot.
nicest human beings I've ever met in my life too. Killian Dane, you may know him as NXT and WWE.
Never met him, but looks
Nice
like a nice guy.
Yeah, super nice guy. Married to Nikki
Foley-
Cross.
Foley does the elbow drop off the freaking. Here we go. Look at this. Boom!
And his hip and his leg land on a 2x4, by the way. Bink.
Yeah, what a
Oh my God!
and look at the jagged wood all over the place. That is not
Yeah, he lands right on the brace part of.
And he
where
just
it
hit his
is.
head on the frame there too.
like this is what I'm talking about. Foley's beat up, but him and Orton really just said, "Screw it, let's go for it tonight."
And I mean, Orton, I would say, has the best leg drop ever, man. I mean, the best drop kick. Best drop kick. That's what I meant.
Orton,
I'd
like I
always
said,
pop for a
Orton's
good
that
drop
guy
kick
that
there,
never
big guy.
earned his stripes. Then here he is, he's doing a hardcore match, and he's doing it with a legend, and he's earning his stripes. This was a big moment for
And think about all the guys that Cactus Jack McFoley has gotten over that
God.
hump. I mean,
Yeah.
of course Orton's here.
it
He did
became
some great
cool
stuff
to
with
like
Rock.
Randy Orton after this match.
There you go. That's a great point. That's absolutely what
Everybody
happened.
hated on him, and then after this, it was like, okay, well, we gotta respect this guy.
Well, if
Like,
you
look
fast
what he can
forward
actually do.
If you fast forward 2 months from here or whatever, Orton becomes the youngest world heavyweight champion, I believe.
Yeah, and people gave him that syndrome that he only got it because of his name and who his dad was and all that stuff. And then here he goes out and he earns it.
Tonight's effort might beg to differ, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still wondering when that's going to happen. For people hate on her so much, and I think she's the greatest women's wrestler in the world. But Charlotte Flair, you can remove the
God,
Flair
dude.
name from her.
Woo!
She's the best. She's the best.
You gotta
woman.
love some Charlotte Flair. I mean, her moonsault is second to none, dude. I mean, when she does that right off the top rope, it is like the best thing you'll see. And I mean, she is great in the ring, and people just hate on her because of the fact that she's winning all these titles. I feel like, and I'm surprised they didn't put the title on her at SummerSlam. I thought they were going to give her the title.
I would have put it. So the way I predicted it is exactly the kind of way it went down. Is whoever win, Io was cashing in that night. I would have given it to Charlotte. It would have taken her
So
to
you
15.
get one more.
And
Exactly.
then they could have then put the title on her again at Mania and made her a 16-time champion.
Give her the 16 tie her dad, and then lose it, and she'll obviously win it one more time.
Ric Flair is known as one of the greatest of all time, right? But he's also known as one of the greatest fuck-ups of all time, right? He's like he's also a giant piece of shit who's done horrible things. So no matter how hard Charlotte's working to build her own name up, she's also trying to reestablish the name of Flair for her and her brother to not be a drunk idiot guy who's cornering stewardess on a plane. You know what I mean? Like Flair has an uphill battle to not just be something for herself, but to give a different name to the Flair light.
He's
There's a
he's
little
the
bit
one
of
guy
that,
that
probably.
he's the
Yeah.
one guy that I really wanted to meet live, and we had that one chance, and then something happened, and he wasn't
Yeah.
able to make it that day, and it was like, I don't know if we'll ever get the chance to meet him again,
Yeah.
in this area, unless we travel. But I actually, I got a email today from StubHub about our tickets for night 2. So like
You did?
update,
Mania?
yeah. So I got the night 2 tickets, Randall got the night 1s. So yeah, I got some type of little email.
That's
about
crazy. I got an email from StubHub today and I deleted it, so maybe I should undelete it real quick.
it. Yeah. Oh, here we go, Socko.
I've never been to a WWE any major promotion pay-per-view. I've only been to a Raw and a SmackDown. That changes
really?
for
We went
me. That changes for me this month.
Are you going? Where are you going? Payback?
I'm going to All In.
Are you
He's going to
all in?
Wembley.
In
Tell us
London?
about that,
I'm
dude.
going to Wembley. Yeah. So
Okay.
That's nuts.
one of my listeners, is helping me get there. Him and his wife are Raz Darkwolf. I can give you guys his links. He's starting his own YouTube journey. But he's a really good dude. Lives in Australia, and
It's freaking.
I'll be meeting my buddy that I met through this content space in Wembley, and Wembley's a bucket list place for me. I'm a huge music guy as well, and Wembley is my number one venue in the world, and now they're literally, I think, 1,000 tickets away from being the highest grossing wrestling event ever sold to the general public, and my first ever show is going to be in Wembley, and hopefully
That is wild.
Adam Cole Bebe walks out as the world champion.
That is
Oh,
pretty
Big Hard
sick
thinks
that-
the same thing.
Oh God. Yeah, we won't get into
I'm a huge
my
Adam
thoughts
Cole
on
fan.
that.
I love
But
it.
I mean, I do like Adam Cole. It's not like I don't like him. I just don't feel that he is a main event guy for
I think
this
he's one of the
show.
best. I think he's one of the best
You know,
wrestlers in the world.
I mean, I feel like if they're gonna have a main event, they should have had Punk versus Omega.
RKO
Oh,
on
and there
Barbie.
we go.
well,
Mark-
Punk will be versus Joe that
RKO.
show.
Yeah, that's what Randall was telling me.
and I
That's
think
gonna be
my,
an awesome
my early,
show, dude.
my
I
early
can't believe you're
prediction,
getting to go to that live.
I
Dude,
think
it's
my,
like
my early
that's
prediction is
where-
going to be Jericho versus Kenny Omega. Jericho versus Kenny Omega.
Okay. I mean, that's actually not bad because, I mean, Jericho, he pretty much put them on the map, and Jericho
Yeah, he
is
did.
like, he is still just doing his thing. And I mean, how many gimmicks has Jericho had since he's just been in AEW? I mean,
I'll
it
throw a
is-
fireball in your face because I'm a
It
wizard.
is so freaking good. I mean, you don't get any better than Chris Jericho, dude. I mean, I still wish he'd go. I wanted to go back to the list. I mean, that was a great Jericho era right there. The freaking list.
And
I want
that's my-
to go
that's
back
my
to
sec-
Suplex Vintage and grab that Raw is Jericho shirt. I should have got that.
Oh, dude. Well, we're going back September 15th. They're gonna have Marty Jannetty, Jimmy Hart, little I guess
And he died.
signing,
Oh,
and
he's back.
I mean their store is freaking awesome. They have the
And he's
Big
gone.
Heart's
wrestling
connection is
playing
getting,
while you're in the
is
store. They
getting
have
real
a little
soft.
t-shirts. They got
Getting a little
everything, man.
tough. Yeah, yeah.
They have so much good stuff. I mean, I saw a little delay there, so I don't know what happened, but
We weren't talking any kind of shit on you. Don't worry. Big Heart.
this was a great match. I'm so glad we got to do this with you, ABJ. I'm so
Absolutely.
glad we had you on the podcast tonight.
I'm down whenever,
I
man.
hope you
Just
had
give me
good
a heads
time
up, and
watching this match.
I'll love to come and do it again.
Let us know when you want to get us on your channel. If you want to do something later in the week, let us know.
Well,
that'd be great.
I sent some messages out because I had someone actually bail on me. It won't be live, but I had someone bail on me for tomorrow night at around 7:00. So if you guys are free tomorrow, we might be able to work that out.
Yeah.
And come on and talk
Absolutely,
about
man.
your podcast.
Yeah,
I
let's
am
get
waiting to
behind
get
the
a
scenes. I
response from
think that'd
somebody,
be-
but if I don't hear back by noon tomorrow, if you guys want it tomorrow night at 7, you guys can come on and we'll do it.
Let us know.
Just
I
let
pretty
us
much, I'll be available.
Yeah, man, we definitely owe you one, and what a great time that was. We sat down, watched Orton go over Foley.
So good,
It's-
dude.
Orton retains the IC title. We get a shot at Evolution.
Well, how
up on
about
the
this?
stage, and
How
Freaking
about I
love it.
pick a match right now, and that'll solidify me as a guest again in the future?
Yes, you
Oh,
pick a match that
absolutely.
you want to watch next time. What is your favorite match that you would like to watch?
I'm gonna stick to
Coach
Peacock.
Jonathan Coachman versus Tajiri.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to Peacock because it's easier for people
It's
to
easy.
do. Yeah, it's easier for people to seek out. But I'm gonna pick on paper, on TV, the first ladder match: Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
dude. You know what?
Unless
We've
you guys
actually
haven't
been
done it
talking
already.
about do it. No,
We
no,
haven't.
we haven't done that, and we've actually been talking about doing that. So yeah, that is perfect. I'm gonna do a little bit of lead up notes about that, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
right
get
up
all
your
that
alley
together.
there, Big Hard.
Yeah,
Fun
that
fact,
is like
fake
my
Bill
era.
Clinton is on that
WrestleMania
show.
10. Yes, yes.
Big Hard
That's-
is not gonna sleep tonight. He's gonna call off work tomorrow and start writing some notes up.
Yeah, I mean, I just started this new job on Monday, but screw it. I'm calling off
Yeah,
tomorrow.
this is more important.
I'm doing notes. I don't really give a crap. No, but honestly, yeah, hell yeah, we're gonna do that. Maybe later this week or early next week. But let us know for tomorrow.
Well,
And,
my plane leaves on the 23rd, so maybe we'll do it when I get back from.
when you
okay.
get back, yeah,
Yeah.
and then we can get your live in person view on Wembley Stadium, all in. It's gonna that's gonna be awesome. I'm so happy for you that you're going.
Yeah,
man.
I'm nervous.
That is freaking amazing.
If anyone can buy some merchandise from here till then, help your boy out. Maybe buy me a beer while
well,
I'm in London.
I'm getting,
Absolutely.
we're getting shirts
Order up,
tonight.
dude.
So
Yeah.
yeah, hell yeah.
I'll throw
a
the
beer
link to
on the hard and softers right here.
I love that.
ABJ, let me know what you want me to throw into when I post this video, man. We will throw
Just
some
my
links
link
in
tree.
there.
Just
Okay.
a quick plug. If you want to check out the ABJ podcast, it's exclusively on YouTube for video only every Thursday at 7:00. I interview a lot of independent wrestlers. I want to say I'm kind of like, look how feathered Triple H's hair is, by the way. Look how it's layered beautifully.
It's
it's
the
great.
game.
Yeah, it's like it's the game trying to pull off his old school flare feathered hair look, but because he's doing the evolution
love
thing. But every Thursday 7:00, I interview a lot of independent wrestlers. It's kind of like the Van Fleet of the independent scene, where I interview a lot of independent wrestlers, but I also do musicians. I do if anyone who's chasing a dream or has a story to tell. That's the ABJ podcast is open for anyone. If content creators, all that. I've interviewed directors, I've interviewed musicians, wrestlers, the whole nine. I have my first drag performer coming on. By the time this airs, it'll probably already been out. So I'm trying to get all different types of walks of life and people just chasing their dream to come on the ABJ podcast. But it's every Thursday at 7:00. If you join the Patreon, you get it a week early, starting next episode on the episode 78. So if you join the Patreon, you get it Monday early. Or if you join our Discord, the night I record it, I may stream it in my Discord for free for people to come and hang out and ask questions and still have that live experience. Also,
Nice.
It's available on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Google, Apple, the whole nine. Just search ABJ Podcast, and a 5-star review and a like and subscribe goes a long way.
Badass, dude, and you definitely have a knack for what you're doing. But one more thing from here, the Big Softie. I wanted to get my shit in a little bit longer here. So after the match, of course, we go back to Foley's book for one little insert, and this encapsulates Foley more than anything. So after this match, this night, he pulls into a Tim Hortons donut shop, intent on celebrating the hard-fought match that he just had with Randy, rocking the house and tearing it down, with none other than a glorious jelly-filled delicacy. Foley says, I was immediately reminded of the consequences of human skull meeting steel. Yeah, I puked right there in the parking lot.
Oh
But
God.
I still got the donut. Bang, bang!
Oh hell
Do you
yeah, he
think-
got the
do-
donut.
Do you
Man.
think he cleaned up? Do you think he showered?
No, he just got right in the flight, and
Nope.
the lady next to him tried to get different seats.
Yeah.
She's-
Because
well,
here's the
He
thing
smelled
that I've
gasoline
learned.
and puke, and tacks were still in his elbow.
Yeah, so one of the things I have learned from a lot of people who do a lot of hardcore wrestling, and I will say from experience of working with Masha Slamovich, if she bleeds, she's wearing that blood the rest of the night. I don't care
That's
if you're
hell
walking,
yeah.
if
That's
you're walking
exactly
the
what I would
boardwalk
do.
with her, if you're going to a restaurant, she's rocking the blood.
Well, that's crazy. Normally, Chris every time just goes out when he goes out to dinner. He just blades right there to get some color.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know what, guys? This was an awesome time. I had a
Dude.
great night tonight.
Isn't there
And,
something you want to tell us, Chris?
I mean, there's
Big
only
Hard?
one more thing I have to say tonight.
What is it?
If you're not hard, you're soft.
You're damn right. ABJ, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate
And
it.
everybody loves ABJ.
That's right.